And I wanted to go back to the beginning where he claims he was in prison, right? I wanted to see if he ever was in prison or if it's another one of his bullshit stories, because he's only talked about it once. And he said that he went to prison for something that he didn't do.
And after that, I got arrested. I got arrested for something that they said that I did, and I didn't do it.
Was it true? Did he go to prison? Yeah, he was telling us the truth on that. But he lied to all of us when he said he didn't do anything. And now...
This is Control Your Narrative, where we're focused on controlling our narrative. In today's video, we're going to talk about a guy named King Azulay, or Azulay, however you want to say it. But this guy is a alpha male that, well, I should put in quotes, alpha male, that he's been telling stories. A lot of them, if you watch this John Bravo film, which I will have listed in the description, but he tells a lot of tall tales, a lot of stories. If you don't believe them, don't worry. Almost everybody doesn't believe them except little kids and teenagers. That's why that's their main focus. But in today's video, it's going to be more of a watch who you watch online, because a lot of these people, they like to scam young people. They were scamming 20-year-olds before, but now that their grift is going away, they're trying to target young audiences, like in their teenagers, trying to scam their parents out of paying for their kids' so-called life courses. But this scumbag we're going to talk about, John Bravo, did a film. It's going viral all around on YouTube, and people are making reaction videos, and this is my reaction video. To me, it's disgusting. I mean, it has to do with I'll use the word grape because that's what everyone's using online, but because you can't really say it because YouTube's kind of sensitive with that. But here is John Bravo and his findings. He's a guy who digs through these alpha males' past to see if they're real, and if they're not, then he just kind of leaves it alone. But a lot of them have hidden pasts. A lot of them don't want to talk about their past. Their past, because either it's made up of what they're doing, or because they're ashamed and they don't want it to get out. But here is Ben Azulay, or what he calls himself, King Azulay, because he thinks he's some kind of king, because he says he's related to King Solomon. But watch this and we'll react to it.
And tell you the story of exactly what he did. Now, a warning, before I tell you guys this story, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen and I've heard lots of things, but never have I uncovered something as dark, evil, and sad as I did when I was doing this. So prepare yourself, because this is not a joke. This is not funny. This is actually a serious story. And I want you guys to prepare for what I'm going to tell you. He was 18 years old. He went to a party with his brother and a bunch of his other friends. They see a girl there, 15 years old, a cheerleader, beautiful girl from high school. The party, they're all there having a good time. Him and his brother and the other friend and a few other people tell the girl, hey, come back to the party at my parents' house. We'll stop by the liquor store. We'll get some liquor. We have fake IDs. We'll have fun. We'll party. So the girl listens. She goes. She's naive. And I don't think she ever expected to happen what happened. Ben, King Asshole, his brother, Dylan, and another kid. They're all Israelis, so I guess they're very close. They all took turns taking advantage of her. I have to be careful with what I say here. In every which way possible. I'm talking from behind, the mouth. It's really bad and it's really hard to say, but they all took turns on her. She was a 15-year-old virgin. Very, very sad story. I'm gonna show you guys here some of the documentation, but I have to be very careful in how I show this on YouTube. This is a lawsuit by a young woman stemming from a brutal R and S assault committed against her by defendants Ben Azulay, Dylan Azulay, both of them are brothers, and Mayor Vareed, who was their friend, on July 13, 2008, at the home of defendants David and Rachel Azulay, which are his parents. At the time, H, which I had to shorten her name because I do not want her identity revealed. At the time, H was only 15 years old and a virgin. H has suffered and continues to suffer extreme physical and emotional damages as alleged herein. At the party in Sherman Oaks, H, Catherine, and Paulina met defendants Ben and Dylan Azulay, who are brothers. Dylan convinced...
I have to stop it there because these videos, they want you to stop. But when you're reacting. But one of his lies is that he was poor. But if you heard where he's lives, that's one of the kind of like the fancier parts of town. It's kind of pretty much the suburbs, you know, and it's not like the ghetto or anything in that part of the country. A lot of people reacted to that, but he wasn't as poor as he says. But if you watch his videos, or if you've seen videos on King Azulay, he kind of like makes up a lot of his stories, how he took on 30 men. But I'll do reaction videos on those later on, maybe a couple months, because I have a lot of videos planned. But yeah, the girl that he assaulted was only 15. And these are coming out, and a lot of these alpha males are being taken out. And it's kind of like the red pill community. They're being taken down by all these reports that have been coming out, police reports. But
H, Catherine, and Paulina to come to what he described as a party at his parents' house at Buffalo Avenue in Sherman Oaks, and Ben drove them there. So they were at a party initially, and then he convinced them all to go to his house. A highly intoxicated H is repeatedly and forcibly AR'd by at least 3 of the defendants, while the others stand by and watch. H was forcibly dragged into a bedroom by Ben, who stripped of her clothes, forced her to perform OS on him, and then oral blank on her against her will. Ben then proceeded to brutally force himself upon H, beating her and AR'd her against her will. Other boys, including Dylan and Mayer, watched while this was going on, but made no effort to stop Ben. In fact, each time she attempted to escape, she was pulled back into the room and subjected to further S assault. After Ben had finished ravaging H, he passed her to his brother Dylan, who dragged her from Ben's room to Dylan's room. While R-ing her, he bit her on the neck, and Dylan and Ben then flipped H onto her stomach, face down, and she was again R'd from behind by both. During the R, one or more of the boys had a sex with her. After being repeatedly R'd by Ben and Dylan inside the house, Ben and Dylan moved H to a couch in the backyard. Ben and Dylan watched, but did nothing to stop Mayer. Defendants Rachel and David Azulay came home to find a party of at least 8 teenagers drinking and smoking marijuana, but did nothing to intervene. Rachel Azulay watched Mayer take H, who she knew to be drunk and underage, out of the backyard through a side door, and did nothing to stop them. Ben, Dylan, and Mayer were subsequently arrested and interviewed by the police. Ben and Dylan also informed the police that they had watched Mayer R.H. Ben was prosecuted as an adult. Dylan and Mayer were both charged as minors. Ben admitted his guilt in open court and was convicted on the charge of violating Penal Code Section 288, blank with a minor. Dylan also admitted his guilt and was convicted in a juvenile proceeding on a charge of violating Penal Code Section 261, R of an intoxicated unconscious person. So as you guys saw, very sad story, one of the most disgusting things that I've ever seen in my life. I didn't even think, people are capable of doing these things. And considering she was 15 years old.
Okay, I just want to show that part because that was very disgusting. This guy, he's online trying to target young teenagers or young adults, maybe 25 and under, young men. But that's who they're targeting, and they're trying to win those crowds because they're more naive in trying to spend their money on these alpha male courses like Wes Watson, these Andrew Tate guys. But we should watch who we have our kids hang around with. If you have young kids, watch who they hang out with. There could be disgusting guys like this. Even watch who they watch online, because they could be affected by these kind of scumbags like Ben Azulay. I don't want to call him a king because he's not a king. The only king in my life is Jesus Christ. But I want to show you this kind of video because I hope you can see it. I'm blind, so I have to use my other phone to hopefully show that what's going on in the internet world today, what these alpha guys are doing. I'm not going to talk about the others because that would be a whole totally different video. But this is Ben Azulay. The internet has him as King Azulay. But yeah, I couldn't watch I barely stomach some of it, but for this video I watched it again. I seen it before, but it was hard for me to rewatch it. But for this video I had to go back on. It's not something that I usually want to talk about, but it's something that needs to be talked about. And as part of a personal development video, we should watch who we hang out with or who we become friends with. We shouldn't try to brush it off because these things happen, whether you're friends with someone that did that, or as you heard, the parents of someone that did that, they just brushed it off and didn't even say nothing. They just let the RAPE happen to this young girl, 15 years old. The guy was 18. It doesn't matter if there's only a few years difference. It's about what's wrong and right. Teach your kids what's wrong and right. If you are, keep on teaching them even when they become rebellious, because teenagers are like that. I was like that, but I didn't do anything this horrific and this disgusting. So guys, women, just really watch who your kids hang out with, or monitor what they are watching online, because it can affect them, like this sick scumbag. So that's the message for today's video. I can't go on and on about this because it's just kind of disgusting, but be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be like these alpha males and hide their past, because only you can control your narrative.